Imagine this. A man who flexed about murder online, posted diss tracks like a marketing campaign, and made a career out of clout chasing off bodies. Now he's the one catching smoke behind the walls. That's right. Ksoo, the same dude who made the streets of Jacksonville tremble with every lyric, every Instagram post, every viral brag, reportedly got smoked in prison after finally admitting to the killing of 16-year-old Bibby. Can you even wrap your head around that? And the internet had been ablaze for years, watching him taunt, diss, and clap back like he was untouchable. And now, rumors are swirling, whispers in the halls, unconfirmed but deafening. The hunter has become the hunted. How does someone go from ruling the digital streets with flexes and bars to lying in a cell, facing the ultimate street verdict? Who leaked the story? Was it prison politics, a rival gang hitting back, or karma finally showing its teeth? And if it's true, what does this mean for the entire web of ATK, KTA, and the countless young lives caught in the middle? Stick around, because we're about to unpack the chaos, the betrayal, and the jaw-dropping twists that turned one of Jacksonville's most notorious drill rappers from Clout King to cautionary tale, possibly 6 feet under. When you step into the streets of Jacksonville, this is not some fairy tale land. And this is ground zero where drill rap and real-life bullets mix into a cocktail that kills, and nobody's going to sugarcoat it. Social media isn't just a platform here, it's a death trap waiting to happen. And then comes Ksoo, real name Hockey Robinson, a name that echoes through every corner of ATK, wherever bars and bullets collide. ATK, Ace's top killers, the squad under Young Ace, and Ksoo, he's the #1 hitter. On the other side, there's KTA, Kill Them All, and the notorious 6 Block faction led by Julio Fulio. These two factions aren't just trading diss tracks or viral clips, they're literally dropping bodies on each other, and since 2017 this cycle has stolen dozens of lives. It all started back in 2017 with the shooting of Zion Brown, a small-time KTA affiliate and Julio Fulio's cousin. A tragic spark that ignited tension across every block, forcing everyone to think about survival above all else. Then, in June 2018, that Young Ace got caught lacking outside a nightclub. 8 shots hit him, yet he survived. But 3 of his friends, including his own brother, didn't. One single incident. Grief and revenge wrapped together, and the divide on the streets only deepened. Everyone started checking their loyalty, analyzing angles, and the bars and rap tracks were matched by real-life threats escalating in tandem. It was in this chaos that Ksoo made his name. Not just on the mic, on the streets, he proved his loyalty. And according to federal documents, he was ATK's top hitter. A guy who didn't just talk on tracks, he walked the streets with the reputation to match. And for him, that reputation wasn't just about respect. It was about fear, dominance, and survival. Fast forward to January 2019. Another name drops. Charles Lil Buck McCormick Jr. Killed, adding another message to the ongoing war between ATK and KTA. With each death, the tension grew thicker. And Jacksonville's teens were no longer just witnesses, they became collateral damage. Then February 25, 2019, Adrian Bibby Gaynor Jr., 16 years old, shot at the Hilltop Village Apartments. This wasn't random. Bibby was deep in KTA, Julio Fulio's little brother figure, a bond tighter than blood. Fulio shared in an interview how Bibby came by that day, after school, as usual, heading to their grandmother's house. "Lo, he was my little twin," Fulio said. That day, Fulio warned Bibby, "The block is hot. I don't go outside." But Bibby didn't listen. 25 minutes later, the phone started blowing up, shots fired at Hilltop. 45 shell casings recovered. A 16-year-old kid, school uniform on, just off the bus, gone. And what shocked the streets even more? The guy responsible, Ksoo, didn't run, didn't lie low. No, he took to social media, flexed, dropped diss tracks, and even released an entire project called Bibby Out, with dead KTA members plastered on the cover. He literally turned murder into marketing. Foolio, a street veteran, just shook his head in interviews. For the life of me, I don't know why you'd commit a murder and then flex about it online. Senseless, reckless, jaw-dropping. Fast forward, Ksoo's legal saga begins. September 2020, booked for first-degree murder in the Lil Buck case. 7-day trial. Key witness, his own dad, Abdul Robinson Sr., street veteran, ATK insider, now testifying against his son. Phone records, insider info, EATK operations, all in prosecutor's hands. July 31st, 2025, guilty verdict, first-degree murder, life without parole. Ksoo emotionless, flat, like he'd already made peace with his fate. Cousin Scotty Whitaker Jr. got life without parole too. Brother took a plea, 12 years. But the BBY case was still pending. February 23, 2026, Ksoo pleads guilty to second-degree murder. 10 years consecutive plus 5 years probation. Social media exploded. People outraged. But reality check. He's already serving life. And the scenario shows a deadly truth. Social media and gang culture intersect in ways that can be fatal. Flexing, bragging, online clout, all of it becomes evidence in the hands of law enforcement. And the streets? Rumors swirl. Ksoo smoked in prison. After extensive digging, zero credible proof. Just whispers, just speculation. The only real incident? Inmate pressure hit Robinson Sr., his father, not Ksoo. That distinction matters. Just because in the streets headlines spread smoke, receipts don't. The gap between rumor and reality runs deep. Looking at the full picture, this story is a generational tragedy. Bibby dead at 16, Foolio dead at 26, shot in 2024, Lil Buck gone, Ksoo serving life without parole plus 10 years, a TK Scotty in prison for life, brother locked up for 12, father on house arrest, sister shot. The cycle of violence repeats, and every player either dies, goes to jail, or survives with a broken life. And yet the streets war keeps spinning. June 23, 2024, Foolio shot in Tampa. Cycle repeats. The streets don't retire you with a pension. They retire you in a casket or behind bars. And Ksoo, now paying for his crimes, betrayed by his father, facing the consequences of social media, serving the rest of his life behind walls. The background, street context, Ksoo's rise, Bibby's murder, family betrayal, and the first legal consequences, where we'll dive into the deeper scandal, public reactions, leaked info, and social media fallout. Once you peel back the layers of Ksoo's story, you realize it's more than just bullets and bars. It's a social media circus with deadly consequences. The streets weren't just watching, they were recording, posting, and amplifying every move. Ksoo didn't just exist in the real world, he curated his own chaos online. Every post, every track, every clip was like leaving fingerprints at a crime scene. And the irony? But those same posts became prosecutors' favorite weapons. Leaked reports from unnamed sources paint a picture even more jaw-dropping than what you've already heard. According to an alleged inside ATK contact, Ksoo's Bibby Out project wasn't just for bragging, it was strategic. He reportedly tracked police chatter, gang intel, and neighborhood movement, using social media as a real-time battlefield map. One anonymous source, claiming to be a former ATK affiliate, told investigators, "This kid didn't just rap, he coordinated hits. The posts? They were like flags saying, 'We run this block, and anyone who steps is seen.'" That's right. A teenager glorifying real murders, documenting his own crimes, and turning grief into marketing, all while flaunting street power. Meanwhile, the public was going ballistic online. Clips of Ksoo flexing on Instagram and X circulated faster than cops could respond. Hashtags like #BibbyOut, hashtag ATKVSKTA, and hashtag KsooFlex, trending for days. People in Jacksonville were posting, arguing, crying, and cursing him in equal measure. One viral comment read, "You cannot glamorize a 16-year-old being shot and expect zero consequences." Another, from a local rapper who wished to remain anonymous, said, "This ain't hip-hop. This is murder for likes." The mix of horror and fascination made Ksoo a legend in the digital age, the kind of legend that law enforcement and parents both wish would vanish. The federal files revealed even more, allegations of lavish spending on the street funded by ATK's underground operations. Luxury cars, designer sneakers, flashy jewelry. Sources claimed Ksoo flaunted money that came from sources no one dared question openly. According to court-adjacent leaks, some of it traced back to coordinated drug trafficking within Duval County. "He was living like a king while bodies piled up," said an unnamed legal insider. It wasn't reckless ignorance. It was methodical, a calculated chaos. The social media flexing? That was part of the persona, part of the power play. And then there were the videos. Ksoo reportedly posted a clip showing him reacting to Bibby's death. Street sources told investigators the clip was chilling, no remorse, just swagger. Some neighbors reported seeing him walking around in areas considered hot zones, filming, laughing, and dropping hints about rival locations. The psychological impact on the community was massive. Now parents kept kids inside, students avoided certain streets, teachers and counselors reported unprecedented fear, even during school hours. Jacksonville wasn't just a city, it was a social experiment in chaos. Even the hip-hop world couldn't stay silent. Influencers and rappers outside Duval commented. One mid-tier drill rapper going by the name D Real posted, "If you ain't from here, you don't understand." Ksoo made the streets the studio, bullets the lyrics, and death the hook. Others went harder. He made a 16-year-old trending, and that's a problem the internet is cheering for. Social media became a courtroom of public opinion before the legal system even started moving. Every clip, track, and Instagram story became a meme, a reaction post, or a digital evidence pile. Meanwhile, court documents revealed Ksoo's network was deeper than most imagined. TK affiliates allegedly had coordinated lookout systems, encrypted messaging, and even fake social media accounts to spread disinformation and taunt KTA. According to a leaked police report, Ksoo allegedly posted cryptic messages hinting at his next move, leading authorities to track multiple potential targets. It wasn't just rap beef, it was tactical, an anonymous officer said. Every post, every comment, every like, it became intel, and it got people killed. Then there's the human element, the family fallout. Abdul Robinson Sr., Ksoo's father, became the ultimate wild card. Sources confirmed that after he testified against Ksoo in the Lil Buck trial, he was ostracized by former allies and attacked multiple times inside the facility. One insider told the press, "The man became a target. He saved himself but burned every bridge. Ksoo? He's furious, but he also knows it's over legally." Family dynamics inside and outside the cell became a spectacle in their own right. The betrayal of blood, loyalty, and street code became fodder for gossip, social media threads, and even local rap lyrics. Adding to the chaos, public reactions online were a blend of outrage, fascination, and dark humor. Memes mocked Ksoo's arrogance, while threads debated whether flexing on a murder should be illegal beyond the original act. Some users speculated, and is posting a crime worse than the crime itself? Others claimed Ksoo was the first fully digital gangster, living life as a viral headline before being locked up. Every post he made became evidence, every boast a timestamp, and every viral clip a piece of the case puzzle. Anonymous community members revealed that Ksoo's antics encouraged other teens to follow suit. Copycat behavior spiked in certain Duval neighborhoods, with local law enforcement issuing alerts to parents and schools. Police internal memos cited a social media effect where bragging and posting became as dangerous as carrying a weapon. "It's a new age," said one memo. "The streets now have followers, likes, and digital witnesses." Ksoo didn't just commit murders, he weaponized the internet. And let's not forget the financial side. Multiple sources allege that Ksoo, his cousins, and ATK affiliates laundered money through local businesses, social media promotions, and even underground merchandise. "Now, it was a full-blown street economy online," said one anonymous informant. "Every post, every track, every diss track, it wasn't just for clout, it moved cash." The fusion of real-world violence and digital exploitation created a narrative that was as compelling as it was terrifying. Ksoo's own admission in February 2026 brought a storm. The public went ballistic, not because he admitted guilt, but because it validated years of speculation. Forums, Reddit threads, and X exploded with posts dissecting the timeline, mocking his arrogance, and questioning the digital culture that glorifies crime. Critics debated the ethics of online fame, the role of social media in escalating violence, and whether any influencer or rapper should be allowed to post content without accountability. Even journalists weighed in. Some called it a digital indictment of our era, where the internet amplifies crime like it's a product launch. Others, however, I cautioned against turning Ksoo into a villainized celebrity, arguing that doing so could inspire copycats. The debate raged. Was Ksoo a product of his environment, or was the internet complicit in making him a public killer? And then came the darkest irony. Ksoo's father, the very man who helped seal his fate, became the most publicized victim of post-trial street pressure. Rumors swirled about shanks, threats, and near-fatal altercations in jail. Yet Ksoo himself remained unscathed physically, and sitting in his cell, aware that his life sentence plus consecutive years meant the street's judgment had shifted to digital rumors rather than real bullets. The combination of social media exposure, legal documentation, and street culture created a perfect storm of scrutiny, speculation, and sensationalism. Ksoo wasn't just a street figure. He became a case study for how violence, digital presence, and public reaction intertwine. Every move analyzed, every post archived, every flex dissected. And this wasn't entertainment, it was evidence, leaving us staring into the heart of the scandal. The story of Ksoo isn't just about murders, it's about the power of the internet, family betrayal, and public reaction colliding into one explosive, viral narrative. Final consequences, government and community response, and the long-term impact on Jacksonville and the digital world. By the time Ksoo entered his February 2026 plea for the BBY murder, the story had already saturated every corner of Jacksonville's streets and every feed on social media. But here's where things get truly explosive: the fallout. Because admitting guilt didn't just lock him up, it sent shockwaves through families, gangs, and the internet in ways nobody saw coming. Inside the courtroom, there was a chilling stillness. Ksoo stood emotionless, his eyes scanning the room like a man already accepting his life sentence. When he said, "Yes, I did it," the echoes felt larger than just a confession. They reverberated across a city that had been watching this saga for 7 years. Social media went into meltdown. Posts on X, Reddit, and Instagram dissected every second of the plea, memes went viral faster than any diss track could drop, and hashtags like #JusticeForBibby, #KsooConfessed, and #ATK versus KTA trended globally. Even people outside Jacksonville were drawn into this digital hysteria, debating morality, street code, and the lethal intersection of social media and crime. But the internet wasn't the only place Ksoo's actions left a mark. Within the prison system, his name became legend, or a warning. Fellow inmates whispered about the man who flexed on murder online, who got life without parole for multiple homicides, and whose own father flipped him to the authorities. Every story, every post, every track had been weaponized in court, turning Ksoo's digital bravado into tangible evidence. You don't get to flex your crimes anymore," one guard allegedly told another. "The system archived it all, and now it's the law catching up with the streets." And that's exactly what happened. Ksoo's father, Abdul Robinson Sr., became a central figure not just in legal proceedings, but in the prison's internal drama. After his testimony against Ksoo, he was reportedly targeted multiple times: shanks, threats, and physical altercations. The irony? And the very act of saving himself while aiding the prosecution placed him in the crosshairs. He survived, narrowly, but the emotional and psychological toll of being labeled a snitch by the same streets that raised him was catastrophic. Sources suggest Robinson Sr. later described his own experience as a life sentence of paranoia and pain, living every day under the weight of retribution and guilt. Meanwhile, Ksoo's family outside continued to unravel. His cousin, Scotty Whitaker Jr., he was serving life without parole alongside him. His brother had already received 12 years for accessory charges, and his sister Karenna had been shot by a bail bondsman over outstanding warrants. The Robinson household wasn't just broken, it was pulverized. The once feared ATK leadership was effectively dismantled. Former allies distanced themselves, leaving behind a cautionary tale of loyalty, betrayal, and digital recklessness. Social media threads chronicled every family misfortune, turning the Robinson name into a case study on the consequences of street fame amplified online. The public reaction only intensified as people realized the full scope. Jacksonville's community leaders, school administrators, and even hip-hop commentators debated the cultural implications. "This isn't just crime," said one local journalist. "This is a blueprint for the new age of digital gang culture. Kids see Ksoo posting about murders online, gaining clout, and think they can do the same without consequences." Parents were outraged, youth programs scrambled to implement interventions, and police departments issued statements warning of the influence of drill rap combined with social media virality. Legally, Ksoo's consecutive sentences were a clear message. You can post, brag, and flex all you want, but the system will track it. The 10-year addition for BBY's murder, combined with life without parole for Lil Buck, ensured that Ksoo's days outside a cell were effectively zero. Courts, prosecutors, and defense attorneys alike acknowledged that the evidence, the social media posts, diss tracks, and even the timeline of digital activity, was unprecedented. "We've never seen digital flexing used so directly as evidence in violent crime," one anonymous federal prosecutor noted. "It's a paradigm shift." But here's the kicker. The cultural impact doesn't stop at the legal system. Ksoo became a cautionary tale for aspiring drill rappers, social media influencers, and gang-affiliated youth. Artists began examining lyrics more carefully, content creators debated ethics of viral content, and activists highlighted the deadly consequences of glorifying violence online. Memes poking fun at Ksoo's arrogance circulated side by side with heartfelt tributes to Bibby, Lil Buck, and Foolio. The internet had simultaneously made him infamous and immortalized his victims' stories by creating a tragic digital memorial. Community members also pointed to the ripple effect on local businesses and neighborhoods. Real estate in certain Duval blocks became harder to rent. Local shops installed surveillance cameras after alleged retaliation threats, and schools reinforced anti-violence programs. "It's like a war zone, even years after the initial incidents," said a community organizer. And Ksoo's online antics made everything more visible, more dangerous, and more sensationalized. Even the music world responded. Drill rappers outside Jacksonville referenced Ksoo in songs, some condemning him, some warning others. Local radio stations ran special segments dissecting the story, examining the cultural context, and debating the morality of digital flexing. Podcasts, live streams, and YouTube channels, just like this one, took the saga viral, keeping it in the public eye long after the courtroom drama concluded. Now, Ksoo wasn't just a street figure. He was a digital legend, a case study, and a warning rolled into one. Meanwhile, Jacksonville's law enforcement continued to deal with the aftermath. A TK and KTA's operational structures had been exposed and dismantled. Former affiliates were either incarcerated, relocated, or lay low. Investigations into other unsolved shootings and murders revealed links to Ksoo's social media posts, showing how one man's reckless online behavior contributed to an entire city's spike in violence. Local authorities reportedly compiled a dossier linking posts, timestamps, and potential targets, effectively creating a new model for understanding the digital footprint of violent crime. Yet, perhaps the most haunting part of all this is the human cost. Bibby's mother, Fulio's family, Lil Buck's parents, they all lost children, nephews, and loved ones in what became a generational cycle of violence amplified by online culture. Every post Ksoo made, every diss track, every flex was a reminder of the lives cut short, the potential destroyed, and the grief magnified by spectacle. It wasn't just legal closure, it was emotional devastation for an entire community. As we zoom out, it's clear that Ksoo's story is a microcosm of a larger phenomenon, the collision of digital culture, street violence, and public fascination. A teenager becomes a legend not just for his crimes, but for broadcasting them, turning every act into content. His family becomes collateral damage, the community becomes both audience and victim, and the media thrives on sensationalism. The consequences are multi-layered, messy, and utterly irreversible. And the streets, they keep spinning. Even behind bars, Ksoo's legacy echoes in the graffiti, lyrics, and whispers throughout Duval County. Other aspiring drill rappers watch, or some learning caution, some daring to emulate. Social media continues to be a battlefield, and while Ksoo will never walk free, his story serves as a chilling reminder of how digital fame and real-life violence can intertwine with catastrophic results. The saga closes with a sobering realization: life without parole, consecutive sentences, family betrayal, public outrage, and digital infamy. This isn't just a cautionary tale, it's a warning. Ksoo's actions created a ripple that will be felt for decades, leaving a permanent mark on Jacksonville, the internet, and the culture of street rap itself. Setting the stage for the call to action, where we ask the audience to reflect, debate, and engage with the shocking reality of Ksoo's story. The consequences are done, the fallout is documented, and the digital footprint is permanent. But the questions remain. How did we get here? And what will it take to stop the cycle before the next Ksoo rises online, flexing while the streets pay the price? And now, let's pause and really think about this. Ksoo's story isn't just headlines and hashtags. It's real lives destroyed, families shattered, and a city trapped in a cycle of violence that social media didn't just document, it amplified. How does flexing on murder online turn into a life sentence? How does a father flip on his own blood, and the streets still call the shots? These are questions nobody wants to answer, but the consequences? They're screaming at us from every corner of Jacksonville. So here's the truth. Digital fame, street codes, and reckless choices collide, and nobody comes out clean. Ksoo's life is gone behind bars, his victims' memories haunt the streets and the internet. Well, it's still buzzing, still judging, still making heroes out of cautionary tales. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Should social media posts ever count as evidence? Could Ksoo have avoided this fate? Or was it always inevitable? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story isn't just for watching, it's for debating. And don't forget to hit like, smash that subscribe, and turn on notifications for more wild, jaw-dropping stories straight from the streets and beyond. This isn't just news, it's the reality the headlines won't tell you.